Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble news channel. First, one thing we know about Bitcoin is that it does a lot of nothing most of the time and then moves very quickly. It is completely normal to move around a lot for 3 months. It doesn't matter. That's totally fine. I don't think much of what we're going through now. When you look at the trend for 2013, you'll see that the bull market had its busiest months from October to December. That was the exact point at which you could have been totally out of Bitcoin up until September or October. If you had been there for 3 months, you would have made 85% of all the money that Bitcoin brought in. When spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds ETFs were approved in January, investors were looking forward to a big moment in history. They thought that Bitcoin prices would go through the roof. BlackRock's elliott and other spot Bitcoin ETFs raised these hopes even more, especially since Bitcoin hit new all-time highs in March. Even though more people want these funds, Bitcoin prices have stayed the same, which has led to rumors that companies like BlackRock may be trying to keep prices low on purpose. Fred Krueger, a well-known crypto expert and Bitcoin maximalist, recently talked to Crypto Nutshell about his thoughts on the current price stagnation. Fred, unlike many others, is still positive about the bull market and thinks Bitcoin prices will go up before the cycle ends in 2025. He says that the recent changes in the price of Bitcoin are normal and don't mean that BlackRock or anyone else is up to no good. Based on past bull markets, Fred thinks that Bitcoin prices will go up quickly. He points out that the months of September through November will be historically important. Many people, including Fred, believe in the Bitcoin power law, which was made famous by former physics professor Giovanni Santos Stassi. This model says that the relationship between price and time can be used to correctly predict how the price of Bitcoin will change over time. Giovanni thinks that Bitcoin could hit $10 million per coin by 2045 if this model is used. Watch this space for clips from the interview where Fred talks about his thoughts on Bitcoin and what the Bitcoin power law model means. That's how Bitcoin always works, right? One thing I've learned is that I don't think Bitcoin will do anything in the next month. I enjoy looking at like everyone else, I'm like a monkey. I do it 50 times a day. But to be honest, do I really know what Bitcoin will do tomorrow? Not at all. What do I think Bitcoin will do next month? Not at all. What do I know about what Bitcoin will do next year? I have a thought. Most likely a little bit in the next year. Oh, I see. I think I have a pretty good idea about what will happen in the next 2 to 4 to 5 years. And I think the power law helps put a number on that. We don't have any magic wands to follow this stuff. We don't really. As someone who has traded for a living for years, I can say that Bitcoin is even harder to understand than most of the other things I've traded. It goes up just when you don't think it would. It will go up just when you're sure it's going down. Or, if you're sure it should be going up, it will either go down or stay the same. Bitcoin is really, really hard to guess. To understand that is part of the growth process of being a Bitcoiner. When you look at the trend for 2013, you can see that the bull market got going from October 2013 to December 2013. From the time you stopped investing in Bitcoin until September or October, you would have made 85% of all of its value just by being there for those 3 months. It's possible that you could have skipped the first 3.5 years of Bitcoin. You might have been able to. You just show up in September 2013 and buy Bitcoin. If you sold it in January 2014, you would have made 85% of its value. 2017 will be the next bull market. Again, I want you to remember this very well, right? However, just like in 2017, it went up. It began the year at 1,000, and for most of the year, it never went below 6,000, okay? And all of a sudden, at the end of the year, it went over 10,000. I want to say that I didn't look. I think it was September or October again. After that, or maybe it was even later. Then it finally broke through and got to almost 20,000. As for the move from 10 to 20, that was only for 1 month, right? That's right, this really did happen at the end of 2017. Then there was the other big move which happened in 2020 or early 2021, right? Again, that was from October 2020 to January 2021. After that, that was it. Also, it's over after 3 months. When people talk about cycles, they're not really talking about cycles. That's the bull market during the cycle, right? If you often check the price of Bitcoin, right? And the price is shown in dollars and the time is shown in years, right? That doesn't seem to fit with anything, does it? When you look at this line, it seems like we had a big run in 2017 and then we crashed. After another big run in 2020, we crashed. We're back now. I mean, what's the pattern here? Something doesn't seem to fit together, does it? Here's a better way to look at it. Write down the time in years since the beginning, and then write down the price of Bitcoin over time. This will help you see a trend. Now you can see that it's kind of curved, and it looks like it's going up in line with this curve. Okay, this is kind of a curve. That's kind of interesting. Then you say, wait a minute, let's look at the price and the time in terms of logarithms. So you look at both in the form of a log. Now the curve stands out, and you realize, okay, this is a line. It's not just a line, it's spread out. There is a big change in this line. Based on this line, it's very tightly bound, right? You know what the correlation value is, right? That's kind of the info bit to the line. It was about 96%. You must be thinking, holy cow, how is that possible? Let's say you saw this over, say, 1 or 2 orders of magnitude. The difference between 1 and 100, you'd think, okay, I get that right? We have numbers from more than 15 years ago, though, and it ranges from 10 cents to almost $1,000. You have 6 or 7 orders of magnitudes of data, right? There is a very straight line between these numbers over this 1 million x gap, or 10 to the 6th. You don't see that. I believe the best way to explain a power law right now is to compare it to how Bitcoin grows at about 40% per year. Is that the trend line? What could happen, though, is that it could go bad. It could, because it did in 2022, right? But, it's growing at 40% in log space. It's growing at a rate of 40% per year, right? That's the hill. It will slow down in 10 years, though. It will only grow by 30%. It will grow at 20% per year for 20 years, right? Will only be growing by 10% in 30 years, right? We're in this, and you remember that in 2017 we had almost 100% growth, right? That is, the growth rate is going down in numbers. It's not really slowing down. I think 40% is still a huge number, right? That's a really fast growth rate. It's not like it was in 2017, though. In a way, this is like slowing down growth. The changes that happen with the growth also seem to be slowing down. Another thing I want to warn people about is the fact that no model is perfect, right? I think this power law is a great way to start to get pretty optimistic about Bitcoin, even though I'm not as sure of these models as Giovanni is. I wouldn't try to figure out too much from it, though. The only thing the power law can do for you is make you think that Bitcoin will probably go up a lot in the next 10 years. Okay, that's it. Just stop there. How much higher is it? I'm not sure. It's possible that it's 5x. It might be 10x. It could be more. Who knows? It could be 20x. When the price of something 5 times in 10 years, you want to buy it.